My name is Devin Ackman. I work here at the Arab American National Museum in Dearborn, Michigan. And if you're in the area, we encourage you to stop by and check out our new exhibit, the Mocha Latte, Coffee, the Arab World, and the $4 Cup, which is on display here until August 15, 2010. So as part of this exhibit, we are exploring different ways of roasting coffee, brewing coffee, and we're going to share some of those with you here today. So there's a lot of different ways of roasting your coffee. You're probably used to buying your coffee at your local grocery store, but if you try to roast your own at home, I guarantee you'll have a much better cup of coffee. Now there's a lot of different ways of doing this. Some people use a drum roaster, others use store-bought roasters. We're going to try something simple here today. We're going to try to brew some coffee or roast some coffee using an air popcorn popper.
Okay, tell us about the air popcorn popper.
So there's a lot of different kinds of air popcorn poppers out there on the market, but you need to be aware of one thing. On the inside of these poppers, you do not want to get one with the ventilation at the bottom. You want to locate one with the ventilation on the side. This here is a West Bend air popcorn popper, which we got on eBay. You can also generally locate these at your local thrift store. So it's up to you on how hard you want to find one. Okay. The supplies you'll need to roast your own coffee is the popcorn popper. You're going to need some green coffee beans. These here are from Sweet Maria's, which is a great online vendor for green coffee beans. These are Costa Rican beans, my favorite. We've got a scale here with 4 ounces of green coffee beans ready to go for our popcorn popper. We've got a metal bowl to collect the chaff, which is going to blow out of the popcorn popper. And then, as a method to cool the beans, we're going to use a metal strainer, an oven mitt, and we're going to stir it up with this here spatula. So as I mentioned before, there's a lot of different ways of roasting coffee, and there are just as many different ways to roast coffee using an air popcorn popper. We're going to use a really simple method. We're going to use the one that's actually listed on Sweet Maria's website. It's called the air popcorn popper method. Okay, so we've moved outside because in roasting we're going to produce a lot of smoke, and we don't want to have smoke inside the museum. So what we're going to do here in a second is we're going to pour the 4 ounces of coffee into the popper. We're going to let it go for about 3 minutes, and that's when you hear the first crack. That's a sign that the coffee is slowly beginning the roasting process. We're going to let it go for 1 additional minute for a total of 4 minutes, and then we're going to start the cooling period. So I'm going to start by pouring in our 4 ounces of coffee. And we're starting the clock. So this here is the chaff. As the coffee is roasting, the chaff is actually blowing off the bean. And if you look inside here, inside the popper, you'll notice that the beans are actually starting to turn brown, which means they're roasting. Now this is taking a little bit longer. We're close to 5 minutes right now. And it's really hard to hear because of the hum of the motor inside the popper. But right now we're at the first crack. And you can see that the beans are browning. They're caramelizing a little in color. We're going to let this go for about 2 more minutes, and we're just going to eyeball it. Keep looking at the bean, watching it darken. And soon we're going to enter the cooling phase. So the heat source in this popcorn popper is a little bit on the lower end of things, and this took about 10 minutes to roast here. But we're stopping it now. We're removing the top, and we're going to start the cooling process. Keep in mind that these are going to continue to roast, so it's a good thing to take them outside where it's a little bit cooler. We're just going to agitate these. Try to get things to cool down a little bit. You'll notice that this is a little bit of a lighter roast. If you want it darker and that's your preference, you just let it roast a little bit longer. So now that the beans are roasted, we're going to let these sit for about 24 to 48 hours, and then we're going to grind them and we're going to brew them. Tune back in a couple days. We're going to brew this using the Florence Siphon brewing apparatus. Stay tuned and keep logged in to www.arabamericanmuseum.org. Take care.